won't say no to you when I'm rolling through LA on the come up, and you call up, how about you pull up, I don't want nothing to do with you, had your clothes off, when I rocked up, had me fucked up, no, I don't want nothing to do with you, nah. No, I don't want nothing to do with you, nah. I know we came to party, and sure I'll pop some Molly, but I can't fucking relax, cause I'm thinking about her body and somebody else's sheets with somebody else's body. Yeah, man, fucking get the weed and someone pass me that Bacardi. And I know we came to party, and sure I'll pop some Molly, but I can't fucking relax when I'm thinking about her body and somebody else's sheets with somebody else's body. Yeah, man, fucking get the weed and someone pass me that Bacardi over there. Pass me that Bacardi over there. She was on my mind again.
There's no way you'll stay with a boy like me. Two front teeth and the same black jeans. Fuck all night long in the most CD. Can't make it work with a guy like me. Two left feet, yeah, I love IT. Wake from my dreams and I fall asleep. Wish you could be, wish you could. 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 Wish you could be with a tool like me. Natural, I'm playing D&D. I don't know we met at the library. No way you'll stay with a boy like me. Unknown number, no idea. Don't quite know why, but I'll wait and see. No way you'll stay with a boy like me. Two front teeth and the same black jeans. Work all night long with a most CD. Can't make it work with a guy like me. Two left feet, yeah, I love that tea. Away from my dreams, but I fall asleep. I wish you could be, wish you could, wish you could be, I wish you could, wish you could be, I wish you could, wish you could be, I wish you could, I wish you could be with a tool like me. Not sure if it would be in the don't know we met at the company. There's no way you'll stay with a boy like me. I know no idea. Don't quite know why, but I'll wait and see. Wish you could, wish you could. Wish you could, wish you could. I wish you could.
I'm just passing by, I'm not here for life. Your troubles are not mine, I ate with my tongue. Bystander in the light, all the other eyes. We ain't looking with sight, listen with fun. Hey, you like that? Never have I asked that or thought that. Give a fuck back, never run and talk. So don't buy me through it. I'm sad on my mind, on my side, so I'm done.
We're back, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Good?
Great.
Hey. So we got a special guest for this week's show, and our first guest on the show. You guys might know him inside of the MX Bikes edit space. He goes by the name CeeBigs. Super quality guy. C, if you want to just give us a little introduction on yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got started doing editing, and kind of some credentials as we can run down the list.
For sure, man. Yeah, I started playing bikes quite some time ago, and I used to look up edits, and I didn't see anyone really making too many edits. And at the time, I would watch, either music videos or edits for different games, like car games and stuff. And I just didn't see anyone in the MX Bikes space doing anything like that. A little bit, actually. I'll correct myself. CBL Gaming was doing some editing, and he had probably the best content the game had to offer at the time. So I was like, you know what, dude? Maybe I'll give this a shot. And I started to learn how to edit. And it's been about 4 years now that I've just been making edits and just kind of chipping away at, my craft and doing it for fun. And kind of brought us to where we are today, where we're doing these little edit competitions, or we got your show here, and it's just really cool to be a part of the community in this way and kind of help the game grow from the media side of things, but just in the media side of things. It's awesome. As far as what I do for work, I work in the film industry. I'm super fascinated by it, and I'm passionate about it. I think it's one of the coolest things ever to watch how productions are made. So it's just really cool. I'm trying to emulate, the guys doing the real thing. Try to emulate some of the free riders and what they're doing. And that's kind of just brought me to where I am today. I do it for fun. I do it. I care about turning out quality. And I just do my best, man. That's really it.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, we're super happy to have you on the show. All of the guys that we're going to be featuring tonight, they're very much like, either they're new to the game, they've been around for a while. But if you don't know who C is, he's a part of the No Namers Collective, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The name's correct. I know it's No Namers, but they put out a yearly project, and he's also a part of the review group for Documoto, which is I'm not even going to say it is the largest MX Bikes edit competition of the year. They do a super cool job, or a super good job with that every year. I was a part of it last year. A handful of other people that, I have looked up to, respect inside of the edit world. They all submit stuff, or they are being reviewed by guys like you. So, dude, we're, like I said, can't be happy enough. A little bit about the show. I know that we spoke about this earlier, but this is the weekly review show. It's a MX Bikes kind of visual medium podcast where myself, my co-host Junktown, or Josh, I don't know, really doesn't matter. I'm So-Called Designs, aka Dylan. But yeah, man, this is just kind of a weekly show where we go through, we review MX Bikes edits, we give our feedback, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So yeah.
Super awesome. I do want to thank you guys for having me on as a guest too. I really like what you're doing. I feel like MX Bikes and just the community, the editor community in general, can really benefit from things like this, where we just, like you said, it's good, bad, and different. You just give your opinion, you give people the spotlight, and you kind of just like quality control, and not in a like a tyrannical way, or like you're better or anything like that. I like that you're giving people the spotlight, and just I really appreciate what you're doing, and thanks for having me on, dude. This is cool. I'm stoked.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to kick off tonight's show, I'm just going to... All right, I've got my Spotify paused just so we don't have an overlap in music. We've got a guy that we featured last week, EDITS Racing. He's pretty new to the game. He's got 5 subscribers. He just released an edit an hour ago. So
yeah,
we're going to get started with that. Just want to confirm, you guys can see my screen. All good there?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's weekly review.
Let's do it.
Nigga, me and my niggas don't be fucking with niggas. We get up but none of you niggas are who with you. I pull into my nigga new spot. Plus I really roll what the fuck a nigga thought. East in the streets still running damn hot. Polish might as well live up on the damn clock. That's why I stay in the goddamn house. On the damn couch while I eat takeout. Text TA when the weed run out. Call T-Bo when we finna swerve out. I be on the beach feeling like a bird now. Smoking on the ounce on the roof of the house. Master Roshi tries to kick a nigga out. Cause I had a sack I ain't tell his ass about. Bitch, you fucking know what the fuck that we about. Hollow squad blunts don't never fade out, bitch.
Okay.
All right.
So, honestly, like, I'll just kick it into your court. See, you're the guest. Let's hear what you have to think.
Yeah, man. I actually really like that one. I don't know how much experience this guy has. Like you said, 5 subscribers. That was a sick video. He had a lot of variety because it wasn't too much of anything. He had some wheelies to moto. He had some whips to scrub. He had some FMX. He had a bunch of stuff in there. He had like some wide angle shots of the entire track. He had some close-ups. That dude did a really good job of just like covering the bases, if that makes sense, in my opinion. That was sick.
Oh yeah. So it looks like he has reshade on. It's pretty easy to, in my opinion, because we do this on a weekly basis. So it's really easy to see like depth of field being a huge thing, and I think it's a huge thing in cinematography, like a lot, or just filming in general. Like having a good depth of field adds a level of quality to a lot of edits. And I think while I did enjoy the variety, the depth of field portion kind of took me out of it. So that was a big thing that I noticed. But one thing that I really enjoyed was the film work itself. Like I think he has a good grasp on like actually filming the rider without using like any sort of corny film work like follow cam or overuse of a particular style. But there was, yeah, man, like I thought that he did a really good job as far as like the actual film side of it, but I was just a little bit remiss, or I was looking for a little bit more out of like just depth of field changes inside of the reshade itself. But other than that, one other thing, no bike sounds. It's a dirt bike edit, man.
I was waiting for it.
And if it's not your style, like that's fine. Whatever. But go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say we love the dirt bike sounds, man. You gotta have dirt bike sounds. I was doubling down on that.
Yeah,
for sure. And just to kind of chime in on what you said about the depth of field, it didn't actually grab my attention, but now that you say something, for sure, like I noticed that there was almost a lack of depth of field, and some of the pain was setting up a depth of field. Like I feel like this needs to be said, dude, aside from just reviewing. Depth of field in bikes can be a pain to set up. And one of the things that people miss, which is a key and crucial step, it won't look right without it, is you need to go over into your OpenGL tab and click on the depth buffer. If you do not have that depth buffer clicked on, your depth of field's going to clip through things. It's not going to, like, as soon as your rider goes into the air, it won't be able to focus on him. And so I think for that reason, a lot of people even just stay away from the depth of field. But I do agree, depth of field is like magic for an edit, and it really helps you focus on what's important as long as they know how to get the shot.
Yes.
Josh, what do you got?
Yeah. So just from, I'm not a creator, so if anybody's new, I'm just an enjoyer. So from a viewer point of view, I agree with C what he said at the beginning. You know, we didn't harp on anything too much. There's a lot of variety and stuff. And what stood out to me is he had really cool transitions. I really like that, and the B-roll was pretty cool. So, I really enjoy this a lot. I mean, yes, there's some things to be, to improve upon for sure. But like this was really solid.
Where was it? It's like right before this shot. Like this is a cool piece of B-roll.
Yeah, right there. Boom.
Yeah, dude.
Like
Yeah.
That was sick. Yeah.
that's a sick
Yeah.
shot. Like I haven't seen anything like that be done in MX bikes. Like that's dope. But yeah, like his transitions were pretty sick, man. Pretty solid.
This right here, little
Much.
much.
But
I think that could be tweaked a little bit, but still not bad.
the speed ramping, I don't know if he was doing that in game or if he was doing that in an editing program, but like it's cool. Like he's got all of the right tools in his toolbox. It's like if you have a Phillips head screw that also has a flat head top, and you're using the flat head when you know like maybe the Phillips head would be an easier way to get this job done. So I think he's right there. But yeah, I liked it. I'll throw a like on that.
That's a great way to put it, for sure. Good job, EDS. That was sick, dude.
Hell yeah. All right, on to the next one. We got our boy Kleb. Oh, and Kleb's in chat. All right, so
okay, we got to be hard on.
Yeah, we're gonna be hard on Kleb. He usually posts an edit at least once a week, so we get to review, and he always shows up. So normally we'd like to do a compliment sandwich, but this guy's really good at what he does, so we're just gonna rip it to shreds and do some nitpicking work.
Hell yeah.
Opening shot's sick. Hey, no
Yeah,
burner
there we go.
model.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow,
That's gorgeous.
beautiful. Dang.
Well, I don't mean to ruin this. This is already a fail for Dylan because you're on the 2500.
That's so ugly. Damn. Wow. I love the fade to black. That was sick.
Yeah, I like that.
Hell yeah.
Man,
That was sweet, dude.
Yeah. All right. So. Oh, he's already diming me out in chat. Yes. Dirt bike sounds. Yes, Kleb. Thank you. Week to week, we just keep helping him improve. Dirt bike sounds.
Gotta love it.
Okay, so let's just start off with this B-roll. I'm just gonna kind of go frame by frame on this a little bit, like the quality here, like the reflections, everything. I mean, he makes so like this portion of the Honda, the seat, the side plate, the exhaust pipe, all good. This shroud, bad. That's not his fault. That's Honda's fault. I don't know who decided to make this bike so freaking ugly for 2025, but he made it look.
It's a shame.
He made it look really good. The quality is there. I really like the depth of field. Like this, it was really well shot. He had a lot of variety. This shot here, like the reflections, everything. Go ahead.
So I noted that. I just wanted to chime in on this real quick. Is his use of the reflections are really, really good. Like he knows what he's doing when he's shooting this, and he's saying, "I'm gonna really get these goggles, these reflective goggles. This pops. You put it right in the center of the screen. Even the reflections on the bike, the reflections on the exhaust. He was like real attentive to trying to capture that, and that's sick. That was one of the things I liked most about it for sure.
Absolutely. Like this is.
And I
Oh, go ahead.
chime in though about one thing in particular, and this goes for more than just Kleb, but just other editors too. Can you go back to the first B-roll clip of the bike, not the close-up one, that one? Yeah. So what a lot of people will do is they leave their depth of field on one setting, so it's on or off like a light switch. And in this shot, you see the depth of field on, and you see an incredible amount of bokeh in the back, or bokeh, or however you want to pronounce it. But
So what? For the viewers that don't know, like bokeh is the blur. So like all of these like dots that you see, the color dots, that's bokeh.
right, and it's possible to have depth of field without bokeh. So there's usually in the reshade there's a setting for bokeh, and for farther shots like this, usually the bokeh, and if you were trying to like imitate real life shots, the bokeh's turned like it doesn't really appear in shots like this. However, in the next shot of the bike, if you want to go to it, this is perfect. That's where you're gonna see the bokeh because you're focused so much. It's close. You see the tire and the detail in the tire and the exhaust. Like that bokeh behind it complements it. However, on the other shot, it was almost distracting because there's so much of it and it looks like puffballs in the back.
Sure.
And that's not a diss towards him. A lot of people just do that, and it's just a matter of not knowing in that case.
The last piece that I wanted to touch on, and I don't know like why this happens in MX bikes, but maybe we can see it here in this shot, but you'll see it's like it's a super cool whip, and then it will like the physics of the game will glitch out in the replay, and you'll see it like stutter the bike forward a little bit. There, it's,
Yep,
it's
right
like
there.
right at the end. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'll just try to slow it down just a little bit so we can actually see it just a little bit better.
Right there.
There.
Yep.
Like that, man. It's so tough. It's so tough to like get that right. But I'm curious to hear your opinion, see on like why that happens.
So to me, that's just the game, but also you can spend the time to make that not happen.
Sure.
You just need to throw the whip, and it may have been something like your input on the right stick. Maybe you never let up, or maybe you did your input too soon, or whatever it might be. It's a micro adjustment for whatever that is. And if you want to spend the time to really make it so that doesn't happen, and it happens with the rider model too, sometimes you'll see him glitch into a different position. To me, that's the stuff that like, if you're watching as a spectator, you watch the edit and you're like, man, I don't know what it is about this guy, but everything's so smooth. And if you really like pay, as the editor, as Kleb, if you were to pay attention to that while you're editing and say, man, I really don't like that he does that, but oh well. That, I think those little decisions like that, rather than saying, you know what, let me go back in the game, I'm gonna see if I can get that same whip without that little glitch. It's possible to get it without it, and I think if you really, really want to like improve and you care about that attention to detail, take the extra time. Take the extra 10, 15 minutes to go get a different clip and use that instead. And it could be a pain in the ass, but it'll be worth it in the end, and you'll be glad you did it.
The last thing that I really wanted to touch on, and honestly, like Kleb does a really good job. First of all, I'm just gonna go back to it. He added dirt bike sounds. We love dirt bike sounds, but like his depth of field, while it does have a lot of bokeh in it, he does a really good job of not tracking the rider so much anymore. Like Josh, like we can talk about this.
Yeah.
From week 1 when we featured his stuff to what he's doing now, like
Oh, dude.
night and day difference.
100%.
And C, you probably know about the rule of thirds, right? So I talked about this probably in like our first couple of shows, and I think he's really implemented a different style that has elevated his game, where he's not solely focused on the rider having to be in the center of the shot and tracking the rider, but allowing like subtle tracking, but allowing the rider to go in and out of frame without being so concerned about that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of reiterate what I said to you before we even started the stream about some of this stuff, and you can put this on my grave because I'll fucking repeat it 1,000 times, man. And it is the imperfections. It's like your filming is like a diamond, and it's the imperfections in it that make it what it truly is. And what you're doing is choreographing a dance with the eye and the screen. And so to move the rider around the screen from the right side to the left and then flip the next shot from the left to the right or things like that, it's really, really pleasant for the eye to look at, and it's captivating when you do that. So like you're saying, he's gotten better at it like over the, as the weeks have went on. This, I would have never guessed that he would have even done something like that in the last few weeks. Like this seems like he's a seasoned guy who knows exactly what needs to happen. But I swear by that, and I'll repeat it to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And like honestly, so like Kleb was really quality before we started this show, and I knew that we were going to feature some of his stuff. And it's just it's insane the progress that he's made, and that's the whole purpose of this show. Awesome job, Kleb. I'm already subscribed. I did drop you a like. No, I can't watch it in 4K because I'm a poor man that can't afford a 4K monitor. So I apologize. We're going to move on to the next one.
Before we move on, I'm so sorry. I wanted to just say, Kleb, that was an awesome shot with the tear off. It was so minor, dude. But to include that little stuff that makes Moto what it is, you're the shit.
Absolutely.
You know what needs to go down.
We got another heavy hitter. We're front loading this super hard. We got Pax with his new low main edit.
Man.
Ooh, that bike looks sick. All right.
Pax always puts something good out, so let's
yeah.
see.
Ball main pocket filled with fresh romaine, and I stay with the cash like XO chain. 500 nigga, that's your rain. When I go to the club, nigga storm hurricane. Nigga pull up, thinking G.I. Joe, man. 762, turn him G.I. James. That Rico and Boo, baby.
God, his transitions.
Yeah, that's.
No bike sounds. God, that quality is insane.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just know them shits, they all GI, man. Everybody got rollies, that's team time frame. I said my cycle trying to be my main. I said my man go keep stalking my side. I told her shut up and go for a ride.
Dude.
Yeah. Short, sweet. Love that.
Yeah. All right.
And as Kleb said in the chat, that tire is so sick, dude. I can't get over it. I love that paddle tire he's got.
When did
Not the paddle, but it's the MX. It's the,
the 14?
Yeah.
Where's
there you
that
go.
model? I want the 14 model.
Yeah, dude.
I want the scoop tire. Will that make me?
So sick.
Will that make me beat people? Can I qualify for ARL if I put the scoop on?
Maybe that's the secret, man. Pax is letting it
secret.
out.
Yep.
Hey, honestly, like, dude, his transition work is so sick. And one thing that I've really noticed about Pax is he does a lot of like cinematic trailer style edits that are. It's insane, like the way that he shoots stuff, and he's got like he takes that extra step beyond just like music and dirt bikes on screen. Like he'll go in and he'll do like full on like cinematic trailer sound design behind it and add like cool stuff like where was it?
The thuds and the whooshes and the yeah, for sure.
Like transition work, like this is sick. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
And if I'm going to critique in the middle of it, it was also a missed opportunity to add some type of paper sound, some type of screenshot sound, some type of, as as these like pictures are being laid out on the screen, that's just another element he can add some depth to his work for sure, and add that stuff into the audio, and it'll just give it so much depth.
Yeah. No, dude, like, Pax does incredible work. His quality is insane. Like, the reflections, everything, like, even this shot here. Doing, like, a weird transfer. Speed ramping, on point. Like, and he does okay, so we talked about this last week a little bit. You can overdo kind of, like, the transition work a lot.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. But his
Right.
is so quick.
Go ahead, Josh. Let's.
No, I was just going to say, just from a viewer standpoint, and yeah, just to touch on that. You can overdo the transitions, but with Paxes, I was going to comment that they're so quick. They're like, they happen and they're done. Like, you consume it, it's good, but it's not overwhelming. It's really well done.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, +1 on that for sure.
Yeah.
And we got to remember, Pax is the one who did MX Bikes, the movie. The dude's got a ton of time editing under his belt. He knows what to look for to make it look good. He knows dirt bikes. I mean, he's really well-rounded as an editor, that's for sure.
I do, like, this is nothing against Pax or his editing style, but I swear to God, you must think that every MX bike player is from Minnesota with the amount of FXR gear that is out there. It's insane. Like,
Hard on FXR's part, right? Because they feature most of these guys. So, hats off to those guys for making everyone feel like a part of the team.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, and, like, I know Milt personally and, like, whatever, but it's just wild to me to see, like, their store is like right up the road from my house, and I'm just like, why is there so much? I feel like I'm just walking down the lineup at freaking Millville for an amateur race. It's just FXR after FXR. I'm like, oh my God, is there any? But
Yeah.
I mean, their gear looks sick. I got nothing against it. I will never wear it unless Milt gives me free gear, but like.
And then let's also remember too, Pax and Larson really do work closely with like Dan at FXR. Like they're in it. You know what I mean? It's not like they're trying like on the same wave as everyone trying to run it and get featured. Yeah. They work directly with those guys running the Instagram page and stuff. So it might be a little bit different for Pax and Larson.
Yeah,
I will say that
for sure. Like I said, I have nothing against it. I don't know all the details behind it. I'm not that well connected in this industry. I stay in my own little bubble. But anyways, Pax, you did a great job. As always, it's an insane edit. Love seeing all your stuff. Keep it up, man. We want more content from you. All right.
For sure.
We got King Bike Star, A-Kits, Street to MX. 2 minutes and 41 seconds. All right. Let's go.
I think he's here in the chat with us.
All right, King. Well, if you're in chat, you'll get some good feedback here.
I say how I feel. You should really listen. It was all mine. All in. Came up out of that dirt pile, now I'm ballin'. And I don't need no church land, I'm living sin. Hope God put loyalty in all my friends. Cause Lord knows I got they back to the end. Right now I'm recording with the mic sitting in my hand. I wish there was on my left, with my styrofoam in. Got up out of Cyprus, went to the woods, got a safe room in my crib. Ain't no telling when I'ma have to use it. We all know how I live. Keeping my gun everywhere I go. We all know I'm still in. Question my girl, but love her strong. We all know how that is. Paying for my daddy to come home. Pray he get her up here. Hope he come take me away. Get me from off of these pills. And come get me from off of this drink before my kidneys they fail. Tell my son and make me calm, I don't know what I'm doing. Tell my girl these hoes can't make me come on and want her to do it. 10 lines straight going on 10 days, my body ain't got no fluid. Please, please don't die trying. On the real. All the long stocks and the shot toss are unjudgmental. Ain't too far right by the M up where they left my name. Won't be that long, yeah, be a while. So my love life right again. Killers on side again. Butterflies, paradise, them bullets left out the window. I say how I feel. should really listen. You was all mine. I be all in. If I took the clean route, bank accounts got cleaned out. We'll still be a wall around with the mops trying to wipe the block down. 50 rounds on the bottom of that Glock standing in front of mom's house. Steady screaming gang life, knowing my time coming around. If I say how I feel,
Paletta.
Oh yeah, dude.
if you was all mine, I'd be all in. If I say how I feel, you should really listen. You was all mine, all in.
All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna preface all of my feedback with like, I'm not a huge bike life guy. Like, just throwing that out there. I usually don't watch a lot of content like this. Like, I don't really have an appreciation for it. I know there is. I thought like a lot of the shots were cool, and like the stunt riding and like that stuff is cool. I really like this map, like the use of, you know, something outside of just like the next or the newest ARL track or whatever. Like it was interesting in that realm. But it's kind of lost on me. A big thing that I would say is, like we've touched on it before, like depth of field is huge, right? For me personally, like I think he missed the mark as far as like depth of field or anything like that. Like, I don't know how he's, you know, how new he is to this edit thing. But it was just like, you can kind of see it here, like the reflection maps on the bike, on the forks itself is really high. Like, it's super shiny, but then everything else is matte. So like kind of that level of stuff, like making the kit look good is difficult. But I don't know. It's really hard to make tracks like Paletta or I don't really know what this other track was. Is this like a standard MX Bikes track? Like, it's really hard to make those look good. I know, like, if you're a top quality editor and you have the you know, the know-how, like, you can make it look good. But I feel like this guy just like kind of missed the mark with camera work and like reshade and everything that goes into editing. But I'm not the only person on this panel, so.
You know,
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, Josh. Actually.
Oh,
I'll go next.
just real quick. I mean, obviously you guys are gonna have a little bit more nitpicky eyesight. What the vibe to me kind of felt like he had a cool kit on the bike and he just wanted to show that off. So we just had some, you know, some roller shots, which I'm fine with. But you know, it kind of boils down to just like, what we've said in the past. You know, riding around with replays and, you know, just music in the background, right?
Yeah.
And if that's all you want, that's cool, you know. I wouldn't go as far to say as like an edit, you know, if we want to get super critical. But I mean, I didn't hate it, but you know, we kind of just watched the rider do its thing. There was nothing super like stand out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Josh, I think you said it perfect, dude. Like, especially the first few sentences where you were saying, I think you wanted to show the kit. That's like the feeling I got when we started watching the video. I was like, okay, like he's showing off the kit, like,
Yeah.
and it kept going and he's still showing off the kit, and so that's what I thought the video was about. And then it kind of turned into this urban riding, like thing. It was like bike life, like you were saying. It kind of turned into something different, and to even expand on what Dylan just said, you know, if you're using these maps where maybe the maps don't look too great, like the textures are not great, the colors are off, That's where you can benefit from doing those closer up shots of the rider, of the bike. If you're doing something stylish, whether it's a wheelie or whatever, like, to hone in on the fender about to scrape or things like that. And it kind of hides the world around the rider. And so I think he could have benefited from maybe doing some closer shots. As we say over and over, and we'll continue to say it over and over, follow cam does nobody a service. I think most people would rather see some rough free cam work rather than just see the bike stuck in the center of the screen the whole time.
Yeah.
There's something that's not captivating about it, but if I were to, give King a few pointers, I would say put some close-up shots in there. Maybe try doing some free cam. You could even do a little bit of reshade and get some depth of field going, and maybe spend a little bit less time showing the kit off and focus more on the riding. Usually people can, like, if you're going to show off the kit, you need about a maximum of 5 to 8 seconds. I mean, to show multiple angles in 5 to 8 seconds. And that kind of gives us the, we're like, okay, cool. That's a bitchin' bike. Whatever it might be, that's a cool kit. And then move on from there. Get to the riding. Get to the fun stuff. The meat and potatoes, as they would call it.
I agree.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I don't want to sound like I am trying to nitpick as much as possible, but attention spans are only so short, right? So with having an edit almost 3 minutes long, which is longer, I would say, in my opinion, for an MX Bikes edit, it's really difficult to stay with keep a focus on the actual edit itself when you have a long, drawn out piece, right? So the way that you can combat that is by having faster pacing, and I think you could really benefit from having, for instance, this shot here starts at 20 seconds and it's not really done until 42 seconds. That 22 seconds, in my opinion, is a really long time to be displaying any sort of visual medium.
I agree.
So, if you're going to have a longer edit, it needs to be paced faster. So work on, I call it syncing. So syncing the footage to the actual song that you have in the background. To kind of pace your viewer or the audience throughout the edit, and you'll see that instead of somebody that you can see it in your YouTube analytics, and I use this all the time to see where's the drop off point. If you can't get your point across, and this is just based on my numbers, can't get your point across in 30 seconds, people have already clicked off your video, and it's purely a viewership aspect. But if the first 42 seconds of this edit is a bike, which first of all, I've never seen anything from him, and he's already doing the no rider model, showing off the bike, but having 22 seconds of a wheelie in this panoramic camera that goes around, as a viewer, I've lost interest in wanting to continue forward. So switching up a variety of angles, variety of different, depths. So whether you're super close up or super far away, that's going to help keep your audience captivated, and it's going to help you, better your editing style throughout.
For sure.
All right. Yeah. So
real quick, and just because compliment sandwich, I have to tell him it is cool, like you just said, that he is using the no rider model rather, to display his kit. If you're gonna do something like that and you really want to show off the kit, I would spend the extra time to make sure the bike is leaning up against the building in a realistic way, because it's kind of just floating there. The grip's not really touching the wall. The fender's not. There's nothing touching the walls. Maybe the back tire is, but that's not how someone's gonna really prop up a bike against a wall in reality. So maybe if you do want to, have a couple of those shots in there, I would spend the extra time to really make it as real as you can and as nice as you can.
Yeah. Kingstar, keep it up, man. Like, I want to
Yeah,
see
for
more.
sure.
Take this feedback. Like I said, good, bad, or indifferent. We're just some guys on the internet that host a fucking stupid podcast about MX Bikes edits. None of this really matters. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you heard anything from our feedback that stuck out to you, like, take it back to the fucking drawing board, and I want to see more content from you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we got Bull up next. It's just titled MX Bikes Edits.
Okay.
KTM's wild. Depth of field.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that shot a lot.
Those are tough.
Transition works cool.
Okay. I have one thing I just want to say real quick.
Go for it.
I like the edit, but what took me out of it is the different shot. There wasn't continuity with the video. We had dirty shots. We had a cleaner shot. Semi less dirty. That's one thing that just jumped out at me.
Josh, you literally took the things off of my notepad and just said it. I have the word continuity, dirty, not dirty, dirty. That was one of the things that I'm just like, yeah, dude, you nailed that for sure.
So, I'm going to counter this.
Okay. Let's hear it.
And here's why. So, I try to have exactly what you guys are talking about, like dirty, not dirty. However, if you were to film any sort of riding in real life, unless there are, granted, like he's by himself, or I assume he's by himself because we aren't featuring any other riders, your gear's going to get dirty, your bike's going to get dirty. So I would say that it was interesting to me to see somebody have a little bit of a dissonant vibe with the rider gear being dirty and the bike being dirty. Now, granted, while I noticed it, I thought it was interesting to see like the way that if he would have shot this in a way where it was like the bike is clean for the front half, and then the back half his bike gets progressively more dirty. That's where I think the continuity could have been better. But as far as like changing up between perfectly clean gear and bike to dirty bike and dirty gear, I don't really have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I agree and respect that, but
You're dumb and bad, and I hate you, and I don't want to do this show with you anymore.
almost. I will say the vibe of this, it's short and sweet, right? It's an edit, and it's bright. You know, we're focused on the writer, right? So you should, to me, that should be fucking clean, right? It's an edit. We want to show off how cool this is. It's not a longer edit where there's
Sure.
the probability of getting more dirty and more in-depth gritty or video, I guess.
Sure. I can see your point there.
If we really like, I mean, we could get really deep into it, right? It is what it is, but at the same time, to me, I think about it like if you have the opportunity to build something like that in an edit, why not do it? And I'm not saying every shot has to have continuity. There could be shots where it's dirty. It was just so noticeable because it would go back and forth so often. And he starts out, he shows off the kit, you see how cool it is, and then like almost immediately it's covered in mud. But then it's clean, and then it's covered in mud. And I think in real life, you don't have the opportunity to go back and like you're going to make, if you were to get all these shots in real life and that's how you laid it out and that's what flows the best, so be it. But we're making a game edit, and it's like you have the opportunity to build continuity in your content. So to me, it's one of the things like that was distracting because maybe it's something I focused on as an editor, but it didn't. I wouldn't say it took me out of the edit or made it like less quality. It just was distracting. I noted it was one of the main things that I noticed, but it didn't take me out of it. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I will say is like the variety in shots. Like I think he's got his camera work dialed, man. Like he did a good job of. Oh, I caught you red-handed.
Oh no!
FPS counter. FPS counter in the upper left-hand corner. Turn it off, man. Come on. I was just gonna compliment you, but then like this, like it's right there for everyone to see. It's the same thing if you use what is it called? NVIDIA's stuff. It'll have that little green dot. It'll have the green dot.
Oh,
and,
yep, sure will.
Like it's the little things, man, and I've seen it in a couple of other places. Like when you go to record, like you'll see somebody's cursor in the middle of their screen because the software that they're using will pick up the cursor. I have it in one of my videos and it throws it, like it made me so mad because the shot is so cool and it took so long, and I get done with it and I see the cursor and like it's always after I posted it. So but anyways, going back to my point, like I think his camera works super good. Like he does a good job of tracking the rider. It was a little too center for my liking, but like it's not terrible. Like I can look past this so long as it's not follow cam.
For sure. Also want to just compliment his transitions. Like I like the variety. He didn't overdo it. If you told me no, CeeBigs, you have to critique it, the one thing I would say about it is the actual like refinement of the transitions. It's almost like he plug and played them, and I think you could spend a little bit more time making them flow and making them nice. That's just my opinion, but they were super sick and he didn't overuse them, and I like the variety. They were clean, like they flowed really well.
And one thing that I've noticed, like not a lot of people do, like animation work. Like as corny as the animations are in MX Bikes, like this just adds a level of variety. You know, like you don't see a lot of people doing that. Like it's cool. It adds some, it adds a human factor to it a little bit, even though like it's far from human. But I think he did a really good job of like actually, you know, incorporating this into the edit. The last note that I will, or two last notes, dial in your depth of field just a little bit more. Like I would like to see that just from a cinematic standpoint. And Junk, do you wanna tell my last point to our viewers?
Yeah, it's definitely bike sounds.
Thank you. Dirt bike sounds. Bull, good job. Keep it up, man. But yeah, I want to see some more from you next week.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so we got Glomo. He's got 6 subscribers. Countryside Edit. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I don't know if you guys are reading chat at all, but like the description from the last video was insane.
Yeah.
We got a minute and 21.
As Panic Rep said, it was a novel.
We got a minute and 21 seconds from Glomo. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Fresh out the bed. Can up the dead. 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 Fresh out the bed.
These guys are really good at throwing whips.
Fresh out the bed. Can up the dead. Fresh out of the bed. Can up the dead. Bow, bow. We heard what you said. We heard what you said. If I wasn't trapping, I'd be rapping up them bundles. If I wasn't rapping, I'd be trapping out the condoms. Now for real
Now for real, no cap my money long like anaconda.
Oh, you niggas in trouble. Oh, you niggas in trouble.
If you think about running with that, then you in trouble.
All right. Okay. So starts off. We got a little bit of B-roll, kind of some far away shots, and then we get kind of into it. Man. Junk, let's take your notes first. You haven't been first up to the plate. Let's hear what you have to say.
No, I liked it. I did notice that we were throwing a lot of whips to the left. And we started. Well, I will say we matched up to the music, a fair amount, which I appreciated, but it was like almost the same thing, just in a different spot on the track. So yeah, it was a little bit different, but it was kind of the same. So that's really what stuck out to me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did like a fairly good job of like syncing it up to the song. So like he's got that going for him, but it can be overdone. And I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Like the transition and the pacing of this was super fast.
Fresh out the bed.
Like, and I just want to say, like, it's kind of hard to pick up the rider here with like the reshade or like the HDR settings that he has. Like it's dark with what he has set. So especially with having a dark bike and a dark kit, having a darker reshade HDR setting or a Lumetri color setting in your editing software is going to make that even harder to pick up. The way that you can avoid that is having depth of field to like bring the foreground, the focus of the rider forward. And we touch on this every week. Like if your depth of field settings are off, it's really hard for me to like get into that. One thing to note, Paboso numbers, that's always going to throw me off. I hate Paboso numbers in edits. They're just, it's so distracting for me. But like, for instance, like they have so many cool shots that are, it's two riders. It's definitely going to be harder to get that to make that look good, but and he does it in such a way where he has the right tool, like making two riders look good, especially with how like server side animations work versus like host or client side animations work. I thought he did a really good job here, but the pacing of the edit was a little fast with the transition speed, having it just be strictly whips, because I don't think this guys had their bikes straight air anything. I don't know. C, what are your thoughts?
First off, the two riders thing is cool. I always like edits with multiple riders. It's harder to film, but it's more fun to film, in my opinion. Something he was guilty of was something I was guilty of when I first started making videos. My first video ever had it. And it's the same sequence shot a bunch of different ways, and it takes too long. And so right after the B-roll ends, you get the ooh, in the song, and it kind of plays the same, like Josh said, you get like that left whip that he's throwing in the frame right now. I think he had like 4 to 6 shots of the same jump. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like, I'd rather see that and then move on to something else. Maybe a wheelie, maybe some moto. Come back to it if you want to. But I was totally guilty of that when I like first started editing, and I think Glomo has. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he just started editing recently, within the last month or so. Yeah. So taking that into consideration, dude, you're totally on the right track. And it's sick. I like that you're going for 2 riders right off the bat. I'm sure there was some clips where you're like, oh, dude, we got to reshoot that or redo that because I fell or you fell or the whip wasn't right or whatever. And so that's, you got to spend some extra time there. But if I could say one thing, it's just the repeated shots. I would try and improve on some variety, maybe some close-up stuff, maybe some far-away stuff. It looks like he does a lot of wide-angle shots, and it's hard to really focus on the rider, like you said, and separate it from the frame, you know, or from the background. I'm sorry, and yeah, that's kind of, those are my thoughts on it, though.
Yeah, like one thing that really stuck out to me, and like we've touched on this before, like follow cam, and whether it's like the actual free cam, not the free roam cam inside of the replay editor. I think a lot of people are guilty of doing this, like especially early on, where they want to keep the rider in the center of the frame. But what that leads to is shots like this in particular, where you see kind of like the quick stuttery film work that really draws me out. Like if you're going to do drone shots that this would emulate, it needs to be smooth and flowing and have that level of realism. But I'm not going to harp on him too much. He's brand new to this, and I want to be as positive as I can. I think, again, he's on the right track, but smoothing out that camera work, dialing in your depth of field, and figuring out how to color grade inside of your post or in your editing software is going to help you just take that next step to that next level of becoming a really solid editor. Anyways, Glomo, good
+1.
Yeah.
Yeah, +1 on that. I just wanted to, agree with you there.
Hell yeah. All right. So we got Shadow Samurai. Looks like he's fairly new to this. Oh, it's another Bike Life one.
Bike Life.
Here we go. Well, it's 25 seconds, so let's see what he's got. I like the GoPro hanging off the side of the head.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No rider model. Yep, the field looks good. But...
yeah. Oh well.
Well. Okay.
The intro wasn't bad. Like, I mean,
I liked it, except for the fact, like, maybe he's trying to achieve the effect of having it on a triangle stand, but a triangle stand would have the bike a little bit more upright. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
The depth of field looks good. The HDR bloom, like, I'm victim to this. It's really hard to dial in your HDR bloom to get like that really bright color grading, but also not have it blown out and oversaturated. One thing that I fucking noticed like almost right away, like
Max HUD.
Yeah, Max HUD. Got it. That's a tough one to stomach. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Max HUD, I think you need to press like 2 to 3 buttons to get that off the screen. And I think I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just it's just being lazy about it. Like, you made a decision, you saw it on your screen as you were editing and said, nah, that's fine. And that's cool. Like, whatever. You're probably making it for fun, and that's great. If you did want to improve, I would just take the extra steps, get that off the screen. That way there's no distractions. You don't have, a changing number that's randomly in the middle of your screen, or FPS counter, or things like that. It only takes a couple seconds, if even that, to really get it off your screen. So just make the effort, especially if you're trying to improve and turn out some good quality.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. It's short, sweet. I'm not a huge Bike Life guy. Depth of field, reshade, get rid of your Max HUD. That's what I would say, Shadow.
Yep.
I'm not a huge depth of field guy, or I'm sorry, depth of field. I'm not a huge.
Oh, wow. Breaking news: CeeBigs is not a huge depth of field guy. He hates it.
No, I'm not a huge bike life guy either, but it's cool to see them do their thing too. I like seeing the variety that MX Bikes
Yeah.
has. Beacon was the OG bike life editor, and he did a really amazing job. Not to deter from Shadow Samurai here, but it's someone that they could even look at their videos and say, hey, like, what did this guy do? And he's got a really good style. So for someone that's into the bike life editing, I just recommend watching some real bike life videos, watching some Beacon, and seeing like kind of the way they capture things and emulating that.
Hell yeah. All right. On to our next one. Oh, some M81. All right. So first of all, like Rigi Dledge 4, great song. It's all in Russian, but like I love M81. Like this song goes hard. It's 37 seconds. Midnight City. Let's go. Okay. So there's been a revolving theme where I think guys are just trying to put out content that, you know, they enjoy. And it's, I mean, I love the song. Maybe he loves the song as well. I assume so. Otherwise he wouldn't put it in an edit. Like the color grading was cool. Like I thought it fit the vibe for sure. Like the choice of like this kind of it reminds me of like almost Mario Kart a little bit.
But yeah, okay, yeah, I see that.
Like Rainbow Road, where it's like, you know, this purpley kind of dream state style of color grading. And maybe
Good way to put it.
Maybe he was just trying to put out, you know, like something where it's like a little bit of riding footage and he's just having fun with it. But one thing that I noticed is like the not the frame, well, the frame rate is one thing, but the oh my god, the aspect ratio. No, what am I trying to say? Like maybe it's not the aspect ratio. Maybe it is the aspect ratio. Like the quality just was not there for me. And maybe that's just like limitations on hardware and whatever. But one thing that really kind of sucked me out of this was just this stationary camera where it's almost like he set up a tripod in a corner and he filmed himself hitting a jump.
Yeah.
That was the big thing that stood out to me. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, it was short and sweet. I think he just wanted to just make something, just to make something. You know, I don't know if the goal was like super labor intensive. I mean, you guys would know definitely how involved making edits is, and as a guy that's never done it, you know, I have no clue. But maybe he just wanted to make something quick that he thought it was kind of neat through a, you know, reshade, or maybe he did this in post. I'm not sure, but you know, just have a couple writing clips with some, you know, song you liked on it. You know, that's kind of what it felt like to me. I didn't hate it, but you know, nothing super spectacular.
Yeah, I definitely...
I agree with Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, I agree with Josh, and you know, it's almost one of those things where like I think many editors experience this where they find a song and they picture an edit to it. And I think that he was listening to the song or had the song in mind, and he's like, how am I going to match the vibe? And I think if you were like, how would I say this? If you were going to use these types of colors, and I forgot the exact term you used, but dream state or whatever. I think if you were gonna do that type of edit, it's the perfect song. It's the right colors. You have like the purples and pinks and greens, and it's he kind of like almost nailed the vibe. I just think it could be refined. I think it could be refined, and it almost seems like an experiment, kind of like Josh said, where he was like, "Hey, I'm kind of feeling something different," and he just like threw this together to see how it works. It's only 37 seconds, so again, like Josh said, it's not super labor intensive. It was a quick one. He banged it out and said, "Let's see how this works." I just think if he refined this idea and went in on like a minute and 30 to 2 minute edit, with, you know, tune up his reshade and kind of maybe focus on some of the rider movements and just like the typical edit stuff, you know what I mean? I
Right.
think he could, the bigger picture, I think he could make something really, really cool. But just for what it is, I actually like it. I think it's sick and it's different. It's different than the typical stuff you see.
For sure.
It is. Yeah.
I agree. One thing that could like really elevate this vibe, because I want to touch on that. Like, he had the color grading matched perfectly with the song in this like dream state kind of like LSD trip. Adding I don't know about your opinion, but like adding a really high level of vignette to the sides and like have that pulse throughout the song would have really made this idea super cool. I know it's hard to do, but you can use techniques like After Effects has it where you can set a song and it'll create keyframe mapping to different parameters. I don't know if Premiere Pro will let you do that, but I know you can do it in After Effects. But having that vignette kind of pulse throughout the song would have really refined this idea and made a super cool, just like something different, you know, from the standard MX Bikes edit.
Right.
But all right, Ridgy, good job, man. I'd like to see some refinement out of this. Redo it. Maybe reshoot it, add some different variety to it, but keep the same idea. I really liked it. All right, we got Blue Productions on the Washougal edits, minute 17. Let's take a look. Naked Bike looks sick. Reflections are fucking bonkers.
Yeah, wow. Yep.
This is our time. They gon' feel us shine. As the dawn breaks, the world waits to catch you in my eye. Nothing can touch where we've been tonight. As the sun moves across you, standing in a half light. In a half light. We go home. What we felt tonight. In a half light. We go home. What we felt tonight. 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 In the half light.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The camera work was solid, man. Like, super solid. I liked his B-roll. He didn't spend all that much time on the bike. I mean, I hate stationary bike shots, but stationary bike was done in 7 seconds. So,
Yeah.
like, if you're gonna do it, keep it quick. But the bike looks great. Reshade looks good. I mean, depth of field just a little bit, but like I'm not gonna harp too much on that. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. One thing that I did notice was the pacing. So it was really slow moving on the front end, and then I think we get about midway through when the bass comes in, when the song actually drops, and I would have expected just a little bit more of a like pick up the pace, because I feel like the pacing at the beginning, having slow-mo integrated with it, is fine because it's a slower portion of the song. But when it gets into that 4 on the floor kind of like hard style of music, it's not hard style, but it's like it's faster paced techno. Like it's definitely it needed to pick up the pace a little bit, as far as I'm concerned. But camera work is great. I thought the variety of shots being close up. My last note, and Junk, do you want to finish it again?
Yeah. It's definitely bike sounds.
I want to hear dirt bike sounds. C, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like. I'm pretty much gonna repeat you. I'll add a little bit, but I thought the pacing was actually pretty good in the beginning of the video. I really liked that he didn't spend too much time on the bike, and then he gives us this first shot of him doing a scrub, which is cool. That's a cool thing to choose as like a first like stylish shot, right? And you can kind of hear it still building.
Yeah, that shot.
Yeah, and so it's still building, and you have that voice, the vocals come in, and it kind of like, it's like, okay, you have my attention. And then the hi-hats come in, and you see he's got a faster paced clip, which is I think right around,
it's like straight slow-mo,
maybe right there.
Here.
So the hi-hats come in right here, and so I like that he picked up the pace.
Yep.
And then go ahead and pause it.
Yep.
So right here, I love that he dialed it back to slow-mo, and then he let me down with the drop. And it was like you said, it was like I was expecting a really cool drop to this techno song, maybe a lot of energy in the riding, some fast-paced stuff, even a bike sound right after the drop would have been sick. The build-up was perfect, dude. Like, nailed it. Absolutely awesome. And then the drop, it was underwhelming. And that's just... Yeah, I feel like if you're, especially like with this song choice, you gotta have a powerful drop. You gotta come in with some heat as soon as that song really kicks off.
Well,
whether it's whether it's a nice whip or bike sounds or whatever it may be.
And
but
I want to touch on it. So 42 seconds, and then he has this cool transition effect, but we're
Well, I was gonna touch on this too.
Yeah.
Going back to the underwhelming drop, number one, before I get into this, I appreciate him taking the time to visually build up as well. So keep doing that. Love that. But and this could be personal preference. I think that little flickery transition we hung on to a little too long. I think that's what Dylan was about to say too. You know, with this shot, we're going how many seconds, right? And then the start of that transition, I think personally, was just a little too long for what we were watching and listening to.
Right. So transitions, in my opinion, need to be under a second. Like, if you're going to transition from shot to shot, it should not take super long. However, I thought there was going to be more to this transition that he used, where like the opacity of the next shot would have kind of glitched in, and it would have like almost tethered itself to the next one, but it didn't. Like, the transition ends and we have another slow-mo shot. The problem that I have with it is it's still building, and he does a good job of adding this glitch effect in the later portions of the build, right? And I thought that was really cool, and I was really interested in it, but it was really long. So, and then having it come into this drop, like we've said, I was hoping for some faster paced stuff, maybe some far away shots, maybe something that's like, he's obviously, like, guy can ride. He's got the bike sideways. Like, he's got everything dialed, but then it was very much, like, underwhelming at that point. One thing that I will say is, like, it felt like it ended kind of abruptly as well.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hate it. I honestly thought this was really cool. I love the look of a naked bike. I think they look sick. Like anytime somebody, it reminds me of, you guys know who Nick Tomasunis is?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The freestyle rider and MX Sim Pro, by the way. Nobody knows that.
Oh.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, first of all, like amazing style, but like his all white helmet, all white gear, all white bike, dude. And he's a fairly a good free rider. Like,
Oh yeah, man.
Like it's really cool. So I really like that aspect of it. If Blue could dial in his depth of field and just kind of work on like understanding visual pacing to an edit, I think he's got a pretty good grasp on everything else.
I think he's right there. I really, and I want to touch on this again. Like, I really like how he matched, like, more or less the video with the music. I mean, maybe the mood wasn't, on point, with the pacing like we keep talking about. But like, I think if he takes a couple of these notes, like he's gonna be like way up there and a really good edit.
Yeah, I want to see more from you, Blue. This is a good start, but take our feedback and improve on it. All right. Run They Mouth featuring Travi. All right. Opium 216. Hey, we've seen a lot of content from this guy. He's been featured quite a bit on this show. We got 1 minute and 9 seconds, so let's see what we got from him.
When you level up, you get the money like it's Hollywood, and when you get that money, when you come up out that. When you level up, you get that money like it's Hollywood, and when you get surprised with this shit, I don't like surprises at all. Just got off that $1 billion car. So the coach to put me in, cause I'm just trying to ball. I go up in every season, even in the fall. I won't talk about them, I just cut them off. But they love to talk about me, love to run their mouth. Yeah, you love to run your mouth, but you ain't said shit. And you quick to say you do it, but you never did. If you talking to a girl, keep it short and quick. I'm busy living out this life that you'll never live. Hey, y'all dick sucking, take my bars at your mouth. I got 4 rings, 4 albums, bitch, I'm out. I was alive for 4L, but it's up to me for after now. You ready? You need to take a break before you pass out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot better than what we've seen. This is probably by far his best work that I've seen out of him, Josh.
Yeah. No, I'd say so.
That was sweet.
Yeah. One thing that I really enjoy, and God, it's so hard to get right, but I think he did a really good job. And a lot of people don't really do this a whole lot.
4 rings, 4 albums, bitch, I'm out.
But the look back.
Yeah.
Like, that is a nice touch.
It really is.
I really enjoyed this. Man, like, film work was on par. Like, great film work. Depth of field, he's got it.
Shade looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a little blown out as far as like the blur.
Right.
Like his f-stop number might be a little too high. But this is nitpicking, right? Like he can dial it back and get it. The more and more that he does this, he's going to start to pick up these things. But for all intents and purposes, like this was really good in my opinion. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good edit. Nice time frame. Not too short, not too long, and a lot of variety. I didn't really get bored with it. I liked what I was seeing.
I agree. I feel like this Opium had something in his head when he heard this song, and that's exactly what he made. I think he probably spent some time to say, what can go next that I haven't done, or what can go next that I should do, and
that's so important. Just being inside the mind of an editor and like you guys make, or Dylan, you make edits. Some of the chat makes edits. Like they know the process, and I feel like this dude had something in his mind and said, "I'm making it," and he nailed it. I think that was a sick edit.
Yeah, good job, Opium. Nice work, man. Like this is a huge step up from when we first started featuring your content. Like you had a lot of variety. Like, yeah, this is really good. Keep it up, man. All right, so we got Hasty up next. It's called Up. I have no idea what track this is.
I ain't beefing with y'all boys, that shit is so new. So that bitch that I can trust it as far as I can throw you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck up. I thought that
Oh, there we go.
Oh, fuck yeah.
everything you don't even come close to it. Up, I get so high that I get stuck up. Or if I by my side,
It's Kid Leroy.
try to run up and on it every day.
It is.
I came from the gutter, pretty motherfucker, got your bitch up in the gutter. With size shit I don't like.
Oh, there you go.
I won't fight. Whatever I'ma do it on my own. I know secrets I kept airtight. Yeah, airtight. Shit that they probably try to do me at the red light. Oh, asking me questions I don't know. This is not the end. I got your girlfriend on go. Say the mother boy's lame and I'm the one that's for show. Damn the Maple Lindsay clothes. Rugged up, I got
I like that shot.
I ain't beefing with y'all boys. That shit is so new. So that bitch that I can trust it.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
That's
Nice
a cool way
ending.
to end it.
Yeah.
I
Nice ending.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on that. Like, outros are so difficult to do, but I actually like really enjoyed this. I wish it would have been like the shot would have been a little bit closer up, in my opinion, so we could just highlight the animation a little bit more. But like you kind of see him coming in.
Oh, on the rider, I got you. Okay.
And then you could use like a speed ramp where it like takes you through the rest of the shot. And but what he did here when his logo comes up, like that's sick. I like that.
I love that.
That was great.
Yeah.
B-roll looks solid. You get a little track preview. Maybe just a little bit of refinement, like depth of field, reshade, that aspect. I like the song. I love Kid Leroy. But like the film work was fairly solid. Like he had a lot of variety. Whether it would be far away, close up, kind of panning, dollying. There was one shot here. I can't remember where it is. It's towards the end. Yeah. You get a roll, like an actual camera roll.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
But it's going the opposite direction of the bike, and it adds this really cool visual effect, and I thought that was really interesting. I don't know.
It was solid, man. I mean, if we want to get a little nitpicky and elevate it, yeah, like you said, reshade, whatever, maybe some tricks here and there, but no, this was a solid edit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Not everyone's computer can support it, so I don't want to even make this like, oh, this is something you could do better. But if you're getting at least 60 frames in the game and you're exporting at 60 frames, I would turn on 3D grass. And so this is a track that's done by Ruben Kilder, who spent a lot of time on the environment and the grass and stuff. So you can see in the video he has 3D grass off.
Okay.
I think if you're gonna make an edit, like try and make the graphics the best they can be, aside from the colors, like aside from reshade and all that. But like there's just like the base graphics of the game, like turn that stuff up, let the map shine and really immerse your viewer in the environment. That would be like my only thing. I mean, this guy had like the pacing was good with the song and everything, and I think he did a good job. It was sick. He used the animations and
man,
like actually utilized that stuff. He had a really good outro, like you said, and then like I like how he in the outro, it's not like it just like went to a building. Like he was riding in the building. Like he's like, all right, I'm done for the day. Like it was cool. That was sweet, dude. And so for how immersive that edit was, my one thing would be just turn on the 3D grass. Like let the map shine.
Well, and one of those things is like you can do all of the riding right with 3D grass off, and then flip that up for when you go into replay editor. Save your replay from when you ride. Go into your replay editor. Turn your 3D grass on, because then your computer isn't solely focused on like actually playing the game. It's focused on like recording the edit. But yeah, like it's really difficult because like I've run into that problem where I'm like turning 3D grass on, turning shaders, reflections off, like when I go to stream like races or anything like that. But I could turn them all back on when I go to edit, just to add that level of immersion, like you said. See, I think you nailed it right on the head. But yeah, Hasty, good job, man. Keep it up.
Solid.
All right, we got Carson MX. Oh, it's the new Redbud, and we're opening with a off the leap.
Yeah.
36 seconds.
If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you wait. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Sometimes I think sitting on...
Yeah, I think we've seen stuff from this guy before, Junk, where this is the guy that just throws a song underneath like the auto camera.
Yeah, and we just have clips. Yeah.
I think this is one of those instances where it's, you know, he just likes put music behind some riding footage,
Which is fine. You know? Yeah.
It's almost a montage versus an edit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on this one. I think like I think
we all agree like the vibe of this. So and I think you're right, Dylan. I think we've seen this before. This just might be what he likes to do, you know?
And that's fine.
So
like,
and it was fun for that. Like I feel exactly what you're saying. I think we're all on the same page. It feels like a montage. It's almost like a slideshow of a couple things you just grabbed in game real quick and then was like, hey, here it is.
Yep.
And so if you don't even know what MX Bikes is and you see it, probably entertaining. You're probably like, dude, this looks fun. Whatever he's doing looks fun. Dude's just testing and yeah, just having a good time. It didn't. I like what Josh said earlier, like a labor intensive thing. It didn't look like it was super labor intensive, but it looks like that's the point. It was just fun.
Yeah, I think he's just having fun with it.
Yeah.
All right, we got Pog, MXB. All right, let's take. We got 44 seconds. One of the girls. All right. Almost had me tricked. Almost got me. Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's on Midsummer.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah. There you go. Oh shit. Okay. Oh wow.
With the lens distortion.
I like that. I think he's here. That kind of reminded me of what Sword likes to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sword does it a little better, but like.
Well, I mean,
a little, just a shade better. But okay, so like, all right. This, I was kind of on the fence, if I'm being honest. I was on the fence at the beginning of this. Or the first 15 seconds, I was like, okay, like first, looking at it, whatever. But then the way that it like brings the song in, and then you see almost like this HDR bloom that is like super bright, like this shot right here.
Yep. Yeah, like we're in it, man. Yeah, like here we are.
Like that was really cool to me. A super interesting way to shoot this and like edit this in post. Like I really enjoyed that. God, it was. I think just like the camera work was a little shady, a little shaky on my end. And like depth of field, but I mean, I felt like I was expecting a lot more when I saw this first shot, or this shot right here. Like I was expecting high intensity for the rest of it, and I just felt a little underwhelmed by the rest of the shots. Also,
Gotcha.
no bike sounds. Come on. Like, let me hear the dirt bike. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I actually really like the vibe.
Yeah.
Contrary to what you were saying, I really like this, to be honest.
This left me wanting more.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
right when it ended, I was like, oh, like we could have had a couple more shots in there. Like that was cool. And
we were
that's something.
building. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I kind of do with my content, especially like with the, you know, if you're conscious of like people's attention spans, I try to like get people really into the edit and then kind of just like throw like end it. And that's something I've always done with my edits, but this seems kind of like right on the same plane. It's like he had a build up. He was like getting me into it, threw some cool whips, had some cool like speed ramps, and then just like shut it down. And it was like, oh, like all right, I could have used more. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed that shot. This, okay. So I think you were talking about this, Junk. Like this moody kind of lens distortion, wave distortion, whatever he's putting on as an effect. Like, it was cool. Like, it was interesting. It wasn't, I don't think he was overdone by any stretch of the imagination. Aside from like the wave aberration or anything that he's using here, like that was a little much. I think the black and white, the contrast from this bright HDR bloom that we're seeing throughout the majority of the edit to seeing this black and white, and it's like almost this weird dichotomy between the two. Thought it was a really cool idea. Like interesting editing style. I wish he would not have done the wave aberration and just switched it to the black and white, and then added he had like this kind of like flickering strobe effect a little bit.
Oh yeah, so get rid of the wave altogether.
Yeah, and then just have the strobe on the footage, and that would have made it really cool. Like any sort of distortion is really difficult for my taste, but I mean, if it was still a cool aspect of it.
And I don't know if he did this in his editing or if the song naturally does it, but you hear a pass effect come on where the audio gets different, for lack of better words, right when this clip comes on.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like any audio editing. I think it's just a cool element to add into your edits, that it's not a visual thing. It's just you're editing for the other senses. And to me, that makes up for no bike sounds. Sure. Because he's still fooling around with the audio and doing something with it. So I like that. I think that's sweet.
That was solid. Pog, keep it up, man. I want to see more. I want to see a longer one too. All right, we got Cloud. Cloud is pretty well known. His quality is pretty solid. Minute 2. I don't know how to fucking say this guy's name.
Stance?
Maybe? Is that? Oh.
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe I'm just an idiot.
I'm guessing.
I think you're right.
Quality's on point.
Stationary bike.
Jesus.
Fresh out the bed, can up the dead, fresh out the bed, can up the dead, fresh out the bed.
That last shot was so dope.
Yeah.
Ooh, fresh out the bed. Ooh, count up the dead. Ooh, fresh out the bed. Ooh, count up the dead. Fresh out of the bed. Count up the dead. Bow, bow.
Bike sounds.
We heard what you said. We heard what you said. If I wasn't trapping, I'd be rapping up them bundles. If I wasn't rapping, I'd be trapping, not the condo. Not for real, no cap, my money long like anaconda. Not for real, no cap, I keep a set like Sapatoga. If you think about running with that, then you.
I mean,
Okay.
Cloud's reshade is really, really
Yeah, that's-
good.
Bonkers, man.
And honestly, like stylistically, he really likes close-up shots. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think I saw a single shot that was like wide angle in this entire thing. But from what I can tell, this is a feature, so
Makes sense. Yeah.
it makes sense. Like, he's featuring the rider. It was really well paced. Just the quality, his depth of field settings, everything is, yeah, it's dope. We did have one.
This confused me. This style
We had
comment.
7 seconds of black screen. Maybe it was a portion where he just didn't have any footage to fill it. Like, my only comment would maybe fill it with some B-roll. Like, I don't know. See, you got anything?
I'm with you there. I think some B-roll or some it's tough because, like you said, it's a feature edit, and so it's like not too concerned about the track, but at the same time, I'm gonna go back to the same thing I said earlier. You want to like immerse your viewer into the environment too,
Sure.
and kind of give them just a feel for where they're at. You know what I mean? So I think he did it with the very first shot in the video, but then after that, it was all like the same kind of shots, but they were sick. Like, I like that, you know, he'd have the rider like in the current frame, he's like looking at the camera.
Yeah.
There was one moto whip he threw. I don't know if it's the frame you're on or if it was a different one, but there was a moto whip he threw, and I think it is the one you're on. Play it.
Fresh out the bed. Ooh, count up the dead. Fresh out of the bed. Count up the dead.
Okay, it wasn't that one, but either way, he had one where he looked at the camera. It was super aggressive, and I was kind of like, whoa, like that was dope. I think I even spoke up and said, dude, that was dope. Like,
This.
yeah,
shot.
that one. I really, really like that shot. It's probably my favorite shot in the video. You got the foot hanging off. He's really laid into that whip, and he's looking at the camera. It just looks super aggressive. I like it.
Yeah.
That's sick. Maybe if I had any criticism or like anything like that, it would just be like throw some wider angle shots in there. Even of just someone going down the fairway, hitting the braking bumps or into a corner, just any of that stuff is sick.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, at the beginning of it, it was very much like it's a rider feature. We're seeing a lot of that, but
Step away for a second. Sorry.
adding a level of variety. He really likes film berm transitions. I like, nothing against him. That is his stylistic choice. I just noticed it quite a bit throughout the edit. But yeah, man, like, this is solid. Cloud does good work. My only last like little nitpick is like when you're filming stationary riders, adding just a level of movement, whether they're turning their bars or turning their head, adds this human factor to it, and it makes it a little bit more immersive for the viewer, instead of just like, oh, here's the bike and the rider, I paused it in the replay editor because like this is a dope shot and so is this, but having that little extra movement, I think would have made that just stand up a little bit more. But yeah,
For sure.
Cloud, that, yeah, is sick. I enjoyed it. All right, we got Gaspar Racing. Oh, this is 3.5 minutes long. Holy cow. Okay, let's strap in.
just come outside for the night. Take your time, get your life. Shut it down.
Oh, it's on Millville.
The career's more at stake when you in your prime. Fuck that paper, baby, my face on the dotted line. I've been flying out of town for some peace of mind. It's like always, they just want a peace of mind. I've been focused on the future, never on right now. But I'm sipping that kombucha, either pink or brown. I'm the one that introduced you to the you right now. Oh my God, that be babe, well alright. Tryna fight in the night, come alive. Ain't it sneak? Ain't it? Ain't it? Ain't it?
Oh.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Oh, he forgot a clip at the end. Oh, no. That's really unfortunate.
that's a bummer.
Okay. I was going to say, if this is 3.5 minutes of this. So, one thing. If you're going to be an editor, you should probably use the high quality version of the track, because so much of this all of it is visual medium, right? So I was confused on what track this was until we got to the top of Mount Martin, and then I was like, oh, I know what track this is. But like here, I had no idea that this was Millville, because Stoney, JV, Hell Machine, they put so much effort into these tracks, and to film and edit on the low quality version, in my opinion, is doing them a disservice, and it's also doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, like the writing's sick. He's got a variety of different shots. The camera work could use you could use some work on the camera work. But like reshade, depth of field, even if you're not going to put reshade on, color grading this in post to help kind of brighten it up a little bit is going to help a lot. I don't know who's doing the editing over at Gaspar, but yeah, man, if your computer can't handle it, find a way to just maybe turn the textures down and still use the high quality version. But from a visual medium, like it's, I don't want to tell people they shouldn't do it, but if you're going to use the low quality version, maybe don't make an edit on that track specifically, because it's really, it's really hard for me to be able to enjoy and immerse myself in this when there's really nothing around, you know?
It looks like a video game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume Gaspar is probably a newer editor based off of his, like, the one subscriber, the low view count, and which is fine. We all start somewhere.
Right.
That's not even where I'm going with it. It's just, I think he had a really good idea, and it's just about spending the time to improve. And progress is such a beautiful thing. You know, not everyone wants to see your best stuff out first. It's actually really cool to see someone start from ground zero and build their way up organically and learn things, and you can see which with each edit this person gets better. And I think Gaspar's got a really good baseline going. The little things like the clip he forgot at the end, the textures, like that doesn't come down to the like what I mean, they're elements of an edit for sure, but like he's got different shots, he's got some cool whips, he's got some he's got like a good variety of stuff. And I think from a starting point, Gaspar's like in a really good position. I think you should just keep building on what he's got, keep learning, keep honing your craft, and go from there.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. All right, I know we've got, man, we are 20 minutes past what I told you the show is going to be, so we're going to kind of run through these. We already featured Cloud. Oh, this guy's actually pretty good, so I want to feature him as well. And then Hawkins is also good. All right, so we got 3 more left for tonight's show. Zantka style. Interesting song choice.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh fuck yeah. Oh dude.
Wow.
Oh.
What?
Holy shit.
Dirtbag sounds. Oh my god.
Oh dude.
Yo.
Yo.
Sick.
That was awesome.
Wow.
Oh, and the panning?
Oh yeah.
Wow. All right. Dude, what? How do you only have 2 subscribers? Okay, so
Wow. Yeah.
wicked,
job.
wicked interesting style. Like super interesting style. I loved this. Like that's sick. It was a little long, but I still enjoyed it. Like that was so
sure.
cool. The transition is sick. Going in between full color and black and white. Like, man, he did a really good job. Where the fuck is the shot? God damn it. Where he comes over the flag jump. Yeah, here.
Oh yeah, right here.
Like,
Yeah. No,
this was sick.
That's such a good use of what C's been saying of the environment, right?
What?
I mean, the whole edit is, but like that is such a cool idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
go ahead.
Josh keeps taking the words off my notepad, man. I had a little heart and use of environment right there. Josh has said it perfect. It's like he totally used the environment and made something like he has the depth of field as you've been saying, Dylan, and like really put your focus into this. And he thought of that, whether it was on the fly, whether it was whatever. He's like, dude, I'm gonna run with this. That's so sick.
That was a sick shot.
I love.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got a couple things I want to just fire off real quick. He had a really elegant song, you got the piano and then he starts off with the elegance of style. So you have the rider and the beauty of MX bikes is 20 different people can get into a lobby and have different styles by the timing of the inputs and whether you're sitting or standing or he wanted to show his style here and there was some elegance to it with the song. He used the environment. He had good effects. His transitions were sick. All around, dude. That was awesome. And he deserved way more than 2 subscribers and way more than 14 views.
Yes.
That's for damn sure.
Seriously, chat, go give this Zanka MXB guy a follow. I want to see more work from him.
Kid.
God damn, dude. This was so cool. All right. So, MXB aside, I just loved the editing style. The pacing was on point. His reshade, everything was it could use a little bit of tweaking, but maybe you could fix that in post. Maybe just a little bit of film work because we see this. It's not a stationary shot. It's got just a slight little dolly effect, but then it stops.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So continue through that dolly effect. You know what I'm saying? And just add that extra. This isn't even the Phillips screwdriver for your multi-bit screw anymore. This is the adding the rosemary to the butter on your steak. The steak is already, it's going to be good, but it's just that little extra bit. It's the presentation of the plating of this dish that is already going to taste amazing. that I think he could improve on, but holy shit, man. Like, this was insane. For 1:03, he covered a lot of ground. It was super creative. I really enjoyed this one. Awesome job.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I don't know how to say this guy's name. But Cuzza,
Yeah.
MXB. Let's check it out. We're back at Millville, my favorite track.
Bike sounds.
Bike sounds! Yes!
Scooter and Cuzza. Told you Cuzza's got cuts, man. Look at him. He's all the way up to Scooter right now.
I like that. Ah, he did it to us again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
58 seconds. I wanted more. We only got to see the front half of the track, man. Millville's so good. But yeah, dude, like this is really solid. I don't know. I'll let you guys kick it off.
Good for it, Josh.
Yeah, just real quick. Obviously it's a feature, right? That's what I'm getting from it. I do like the voice overlay of whatever race it was.
Right?
Just a little, extra depth to the feeling of it. No, I really liked it. We can go on about, the nitpicky stuff, but just overall as a package, I liked it.
I thought it was really well shot.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way he laid it out, how he comes over, he comes over the jump in slow-mo, and then you get this wide angle of, like, him ripping into the next jump, and then it goes back to the close-up slow-mo, like, good use of, like, different shots. And then, like Josh just said, the voiceover's cool because I don't want to call it, like, a fourth wall, but you're adding this element into it that makes you, like, you understand that he's a racer. Or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, especially like from me or us who come from the free riding side of things, like the racing's cool, dude. Like that's like its own thing, and it's I like when people add those little bits of the commentators' voiceovers and I think it's a really cool element to include in an edit if you have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will preface this with, like, I came from sim before I started playing bikes, but Holtzy does it, like, his editing on the MX sim side is really
amazing.
It's so fucking good. But hearing Kellen's voice in his edits when he does, like, MX sim the movie, like or MX Sim whatever that he's following, basically it's like a copycat series of like Moto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, but he does that for sim. Like, it's so cool, and it adds that aspect of, like, these guys are really good at what they do. Like, Cuzza is really good at playing the game. There's obviously a feature where he was on either a stream and they took that sound bite and, like, added it to this, and it adds that level of, like, personality to a feature. And granted, like, not all of us have, are good enough to be featured on Navo's stream every week, or even my stream when we do bullshit races. Like, it's cool to add that aspect of it alongside just having great film work, having a really dialed reshade for all intents and purposes. I went to Millville. It was only dark and cloudy for one moto. Other than that, it was like abysmally muggy. Yes, it was overcast, but it was sunny. The only time it got cloudy was when the 450 Moto 2 was going on towards the last two laps. I don't know why we have to make this track dark, but it's a change of pace, whatever. Stony, Hell Machine, JV, I love you guys. Keep putting out great content. But, like, man, does that really suck that I don't have another skybox to play around with on my favorite track, because I don't know, Junk, how many edits have I put out? At least like 3 on Millville. Like it,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just put out a new one today, 2 days ago, yesterday, I don't know. But like it's really hard to get your reshade dialed in. I think we featured an edit last week that missed the mark on reshade. With a track that is this dark, you really need to bring out those colors and that saturation. And I think I don't know how to say his name, but man, he did a really good job of like bringing out those colors and brought an actual piece of art that I would truly call a very solid edit. Aside from the fact that I was denied more of Millville.
Yeah, that one's.
Can we expand his the description? I don't know about this. Okay,
Well,
I just wanted to see if it was any more than that, but we pretty much. I think we've pretty much reviewed it and given our thoughts, but
Yeah, man, this is solid. And you know what? He deserves a lot more love. Like, this was sick. Keep this up, man. I don't know if you watch the show, but if you don't, and anybody that's in chat, I mean, there's 8 viewers, like, whatever. It's all the C's boys that are hanging out. Hey, I do want to give a shout out to all the people that are in the chat. Swerd, we got you on next week, which I'm just gonna spoil that for everybody. We're gonna have Swerd on next week as our guest. All the Fat Friends, all the Valor guys, like, dude, it's super cool to see you guys showing up for this. Like, I know C holds a lot of weight, and I'm sure he's promoting this amongst his circle of friends, and I do really appreciate the viewership.
Yeah, this is rad. Thanks.
hell yeah, dude.
All right, we got one more edit, and then I don't know. C Junk, do you guys want to, like? I know we're just over 2 hours, but do you guys want to shred one of mine?
Yeah, if C's down for it, we could let him pick one, and yeah, I would like to do that.
And I mean,
Yeah.
like,
After we run this one, let's get one of yours in here, and yeah.
and
sure, dude.
and I mean, absolutely shred it. Like, no holds bar. I don't need no fucking lovey-dovey.
Sure.
Like, oh, this is your stream. Like, shred it. Let's see it.
Sure. Sure.
Hawkins MX. We got 2 minutes 15 seconds on Pipe Dream. Sick track, by the way. God, Hearn does such a good job.
Yeah.
I'm done learning these lessons. Why is life so cruel? People calling me reckless. What would they say about you?
I like this a lot.
Wow.
Left all of these questions when you left too soon. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. I'm running too wild without you. Now I'm fading to black. A knife in the back.
This is sick.
Left me alone, nowhere to go. Tell me the reason I don't believe it. Don't know where to lay the blame. Trying to be so strong, look at me choke on words I never got to say. All the moments that I wish I could
Backers.
show you. I made you proud even though you'll never see my flowers.
That's a sick shot.
That's gorgeous.
I don't wanna make a sad song into your legacy. Using the same 4 chords and stock melodies. The only way I know how to say what you meant to me is swallow the pain.
Holy shit.
Cause the world keeps going. Telling me it's lessons I can't take anymore. Tell me the reason I don't believe it. Don't know where to lay the blame.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
That's pretty solid.
first off, his B-roll and like the way that things come into frame or into focus rather, so good, so nice.
Amazing.
Like I really enjoyed that. Like his film work, like this shot in particular. Like I'm not a huge fan of the zoom shots, just because it's like it can be a little overdone and it looks a little cheesy. But like this shot in particular, like I know I just said it after seeing it the first time, but like holy fuck is this big?
Yeah.
Like, that's massive.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
There was a portion of me that thought he was going all the way to the top of this hill.
Me too. Me too. As soon as, yeah, I agree.
But like it's so cool, and then it follows up.
Yeah.
So it's like it's one continuous shot of zooming. But he does it. It was delivered in a way that it was like actually like fairly well done. I think the way that he zoomed in and like tracked the rider, but didn't track the rider as like we're progressing through this shot.
Right.
One thing that I do have to note, and we touched on this earlier with an earlier edit. I think it was I can't remember the guy's name, but you have this like kind of melodic build up to a song where it's very soft. And then you hear that that breath in from the artist.
Yep.
And then it's just it's 43
Yeah. Yep.
59. Yeah, we're 15 seconds into the same whip all in slow-mo that really left me wanting for something to be like I wanted to hear a 250F just barking as soon as that first hit comes in from the drop of the song, and just and he's like hauling ass anywhere. Like that's what I wanted to see, but I was left with slow-mo. Your thoughts?
Right. I agree with you. Spent a little bit. He spent a lot of time on this. That's kind of one of the things we talked about earlier in the stream was the attention span. So like you've spent all this time building it, and you get to the drop, and I'm expecting to see high energy. Like if you had like an arc for the edit, this is the highest point. This is the moment that everyone's waiting for to really get you into it and captivate you. And sometimes when you're looking at the same shot for too long, I don't even want to say like something harsh like it takes you out of the edit, because I wouldn't even say that, but it's a lot to, it's not enough to look at. That's what I'm trying to say, is it's not enough to look at this point. We're expecting, I want my eyes to be bouncing around and like whoa, what's next, and so that's kind of the B-roll though, amazing. And I don't mean to make this about the track creator, but Hurin does an amazing job of creating these really immersive environments. I spend some time with Hurin behind the scenes, and I see the work he puts into his track, and for any editor, Hurin tracks are a good choice. It doesn't matter which track. It could be any track. His tracks are great. You're inevitably gonna have you're almost guaranteed good B-roll by using a Hurin track.
Yeah.
There's so much to film. There's so much to look at. As far as his riding, I really like the bar drag. I really like his oppo style. All that was super sick. Like he had some good riding in there. I just think it came down to building that arc, that energy, matching the energy of the song, giving us a lot to look at right when it drops, and then taming it down.
Yep.
But that's pretty much the gist of it.
All right. Hawkins, dude. All right. That one deserves a sub from me, man. Like super good job, man. Oh, he's got one from 13 hours ago. But hey. All right, Junk, I'll let you pick. Well,
Okay.
I'll let you pick.
So, okay. Boy, I am biased towards a couple. Yeah. So I'll how about this? I'll pick like 3, and then CeeBigs could just pick which one we do.
Sure, go for it.
I think Dylan should pick his video.
Oh, okay? So
Personally, I want
fair
you to
enough.
pick which one you want me to pick apart. I don't want to just pick a random one.
I kind of like that idea, to be honest.
We'll do the fresh one that I dropped 3 hours ago. We'll do this one.
Let's do it.
And this is another track that I love filming on. Anything that JV makes, super visually intensive. Like,
for sure.
Oh my god, Goat Farm. Well, this was the track that I filmed my Documoto edit on.
It is.
If you could only feel the way that I feel, ready for the war to come my way. I struggle, so I know what it takes. The pressure only builds till it breaks. If you could only feel the way that I feel, you might think it's something spiritual, but I'm betting on the right hand right now. To hell with all the someday, somehow. I've waited long enough, waited long enough. Right hand right now. To hell with all the someday, somehow. I've waited long enough, waited long enough. You might think it's something spiritual, but I don't need a fucking miracle. If you could only see the way that I see, you could find the faith to take the leap. It only took one shot to prove I'm made of glass. With no pain, you can cause it won't eventually pass. If you could only see the way that I see, you'd be better. To hell with all the someday, somehow. I've waited long enough, waited long enough. Right here, right now. To hell with all the someday, somehow. I've waited long enough. You might think it's something spiritual, but I don't need a fucking miracle. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. My will is stronger.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah, man.
I knew Junk was gonna like that one. That's the one that he wanted to pick.
Yeah, that was definitely gonna be the one. So real quick, I'll just have a couple notes. I'll let C do his thing. Of course, I love the music. I do think this is a really good one because I think this is a really good showcase of the culmination of the skills that you've been working on recently. Because some of the past edits don't have all the tricks that you've been working on, and this one I think highlights all those. So I think this is actually a really good choice for C to review.
That's awesome. I'm gonna be a little bit hypercritical, but I'm gonna start off with some of the things that I really, really like about it. Actually, I'll start off with the critical stuff, and then I'll say some of the things I really like about it.
Yeah, go for it.
My first thing that I notice is you tend to do a lot of dolly shots. You do a lot of left to right, right to left, which is really cool. That's a realistic shot, and it's a cinematic thing. I would love to see like a mix of drone shots, really like if you're almost like throwing a baseball, it's like you start back, really get me in there quick so I can see the action, you know what I mean? And then you go back to the dolly shot. That would be really cool to like break it up. And then I'm a huge whip guy, dude. You had a lot of shredding, which I love to see. I just want to see like a couple more big whips, a couple more, just like scattered around. You did a really good job about like building up to it, and there was a couple spots where I'm like, okay, he's gonna throw a big one, and then it was like a little bit more shredding, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it, and then it was a little bit more shredding, and then you throw then you throw it in there, and I'm like, okay, there it is, fuck yeah, you know. So I would just say like mix it up, whether even if it's not a whip, maybe focus on the nuances of your style and like whether it's sliding through a berm kind of like you did, and you really focused on like the body movement, because you're really good at making things not look clunky. Like you're familiar with the rider and like your right joystick and your left joystick. It seems like you have full control and you fully understand what to do to make it look real. So that's why I'm gonna go there with it. The things that the last thing is I noticed a lot of 3D grass shots, and I think that it's a really good idea, and it bums me out because I want to do them more often myself. But I think that the 3D grass in this game doesn't do the editors justice.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it takes the quality back a notch. And so if you want to throw one of those in there, that's cool. It's like, oh hell yeah, the camera's moving through the grass. I counted 3 grass shots.
Sure.
So I would just maybe include less of those and still give that same like feeling to the viewer. Like this camera's snaking down through the grass. It's super cool. And then like you hear the bike sounds it rips by. It's really immersive. And then by like the second or third one, I'm like, oh man, it's a bummer the grass looks like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where my focus shifts. But the lens flares, dude, super on point. Your audio editing in the beginning, my favorite. I love that shit.
Yeah.
You built an intro not only with visuals, but you use that other sense to like get you immersed into the video. I love that. And you have to really like take some time to think about it. Like, all right, the bike's in a shop. What kind of like shop sounds are you gonna hear? You're gonna hear air compressors. You're gonna hear like people talking. You're gonna hear maybe even like a little bit of an echo. You're gonna hear like all these little things that you're thinking of while you're doing that. You added so many like elements to it. It was badass. And then I love the tractor. Like you hear the tractor backing up, and just awesome. I love the audio editing, dude. And then he threw in a tear off. I love the animations, like we were saying earlier. You got to throw in some type of animation that's aside from the normal whip and turn and kick your leg out and look around. Use what the game has to offer, and you totally did that. So that's really it, dude. If I could pick one thing out of everything I said to like improve on, it'd just be the dolly shots. I would just include some like a nice variety of other shots, include some drone stuff, flying over the track or getting up in your face with the drone, kind of something fast, a wider, you know what I mean? Something kind of like that. But that's the gist of it, man. I really like your stuff. There was a reason that you were in the finals for Docimoto and placed where you did. I mean, you make quality content, and you're one of the best amongst the community for sure. You have your own style. It's clean. It's cinematic. It's you. It's dope, dude.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. Junk, you got anything? Anything negative to say about my shit? Because I'll cut you from this show right now.
No, dude, it's good. Yeah, great. Everybody subscribe.
I'm kidding.
Hell yeah. And then if I could steal the light for just a second,
Yeah.
I want to talk to your viewers, dude, and just say, guys, we're all in here watching edits. We love this stuff. Some of us are editors. Some of us just are viewers. It doesn't matter. We all have a similar passion. Docimoto is one of those things that runs on the same plane as this. It's very hypercritical, and it's also encouraging, and we try to bring the best out of the community to participate in things like this and get people making videos. to get people that want to improve on their craft and just keep progressing, man. Progress is such a beautiful thing. Documoto is one of those events that showcases that. There's a wide range of editors in the contest. You have flashy editors, cinematic editors, even like some of the like some more simple stuff that you could say, oh, like that person is maybe in their first few months of editing or whatever. And it's coming up. We've been kind of finalizing everything, and the Valor guys have been working hard. They always turn out great assets and great quality for us to use for our content as well while we're hyping this thing up and ready for it to kick off. So if you guys are interested in the edit stuff and you like this kind of content, definitely tune into Documoto 2024. It gets better every year, and I really can't wait to see kind of what everyone turns up this year. I'm sure it's going to be leaps and bounds better than last year, as it was the year before.
100%. Couldn't agree more. I'll drop a link to the Valor Discord in the description for this stream. Dude, I cannot thank you enough. I know, like, I reached out to you after Documoto trying to get some more feedback and more help. You've been nothing but helpful to me. Like, it was super cool to have you on the stream. Like I said beforehand, like, the shit that you put out is super high quality. B-roll, fucking the film work, everything that you do is awesome. I love seeing every, like, no-namers, any piece of content that you put out is really cool and really inspiring to somebody like me. And honestly, like, I'm super honored to have you on as our first guest of the weekly review. It was so much fun.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. I appreciate both you guys, and that means a lot, dude. It gets me excited to make content for people that get stoked on it. I'm not making it for views. I'm not making it to, like, catch an algorithm. I make it for the people that appreciate it, and I make it for me and my buddies. We spend a lot of time paying attention to details and just trying to get it right. I have a really, really good group of guys behind me that is constantly putting my content, like, through a quality control filter, and I couldn't do it without all of them too. So I appreciate everything you're saying, and yeah, shout out to you guys for doing something for the community. You guys are, the show's fun. You have a good variety of talent on it, and just, you got first timers, you got seasoned guys like Pax, you're just doing a little bit of everything and doing a service to the editors of this community. And it's such a niche thing, and it's just awesome, dude. It's cool. It's cool to be a part of it. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Hey.
Yeah.
All right, Junk, any final thoughts?
No, again, just thank you. See, no, it was super cool meeting you and doing this with you. Like, I don't know, just being a casual player and somebody that just appreciates, the hard work and the art with everything. I'm a little starstruck, like, just the quality that both you guys produce, and I get just to enjoy it. So it's super cool, and just know that your hard work, C and Dylan, it doesn't go unnoticed, right? I know this is such a weird niche, MX Bikes edits, right? Not a huge popular thing by any means, but no, it's just so cool, and it's very much enjoyed.
Hell yeah, man.
Hey, well, anyways, guys, if you didn't catch it early on or haven't been around for this entire stream, this is the weekly review show. Myself and my co-host, Junktown. I'm Dylan, aka So-Called Designs, in studio with us. Well, out of our fake little internet studio, we had CeeBigs on as our first ever guest. It was a pleasure to have him on. Next week, we've got Swerd, who you all know and love. He's going to be stepping in booth with us to do another round of this. So we hope to see you guys all in stream and leave our feedback. But hey, all we're doing is trying to better the community, make the competition stiffer for Documoto this year, because, like, I know for a fact there's going to be a lot of people coming to the table for that contest that you're putting on with the Valor guys, and it's going to be hard to shine through a lot of the quality content that we've had put out in the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. It was a great week. We'll see you guys next week, man.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.
Look at my face, whoa. Look at my halo.